That's on. Right. Welcome one and all to Buckland Brewer Parish Council meeting. I am chair for the day, vice chair normally. George Haywood's my name. Our chair is away. He said he might be looking on us in Australia somewhere. Hello, Richard. Yes. Right. Business to be transacted at this meeting. 117. Apologies for absence. Richard Hooper, who's away.
Phil Ainsworth.
Phil Ainsworth.
Yeah. Also, Councillor Morris sends his apologies, as did our PCSO, Liz Rennick.
Thank you. And have we got to pass a motion that they're allowed to be absent?
Yeah.
So how do I propose that and second it? Well, I propose that we allow for the absence for Richard Hooper, Mr. Ainsworth. All in favour? Right, thank you. Declarations of interest. I may have one, I wish to be guided. On reference 127, Hunt, I am a paid up member of the Hunt. So do you wish me to declare an interest? And do you wish me to say nothing? Am I allowed to speak? Am I allowed to vote if there is a vote?
I think that
I have nothing to do with the Hunt.
No,
I'm just a paid up member of it.
Yeah, no, I think declaring your interest is fine. As far as the vote, it wouldn't preclude you from voting, but I think it's prudent to declare your interest.
Fine, and does it preclude me from speaking? Thank you very much. Any other declarations of interest? Okay. Minutes of the meeting of the Parish Council held on the 11th of October 23. You've all had time to read them. I believe the third set was set out. Do you all wish to say that they are an accurate record and any amendments or no, nothing to be signed off? You weren't at the meeting. If we could record that, Mr. Mills is not at the meeting, so he is abstaining from passing judgment on whether these minutes are an accurate record. Okay, so Joe, do you wish me to sign them off now? Okay, thank you. You want me to sign every page?
Yeah, just initial each page.
Initial it?
You can do that, yeah,
After the meeting, thank you. Thank you. Right. Public participation. Any member of the public wish to speak at all? Yes, sir. Can you just say your name?
Yeah,
Oh, yes. I'm afraid you've got to
people at the other end of the world can hear you.
come and speak in the microphone, give a little song. That's brilliant.
No, you wouldn't want me to sing. Picking up on something that was said at the end of the last meeting, I thought the idea of having an informal chat with parish councillors was an excellent idea, and I only hope you resolved the meeting place, either have resolved it or where you're going to meet in the future.
No, we have carried on having
Right, okay, fine.
And it was a resounding success.
Lovely, lovely. One other thing, please. The item on the agenda last time, 109, the industrial units. I notice there's nothing on the agenda to discuss it tonight. Has anything happened in the month about taking this forward?
No, we are instigating a survey in the new year of what the, I don't know what you call it, a survey or whatever you call it, going around and getting what the people want on a vote of what they want.
But nothing's happened in the month?
No.
Right, because Councillor Pennington did very kindly and very confidently offer to finance the whatever communication was going on.
They already did a finance. I didn't know high over the cow.
Oh.
With Tom Vanstone.
Right.
Sorry, Phil. Sorry, could you say it again? I missed all that.
He offered help from Tom
Right.
Vanstone.
Okay.
It wasn't right.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you. Right, we'll move on. Clerk's report. Correspondence.
Okay, I've got quite a few updates this month. So bear with me. Some of the information I've already sent to councillors, but there have been some last minute updates that I've just got in the last day and a half. So the first one is from Councillor Morris, who's one of our county representatives. He sent his apologies for this evening, but he's just provided a quick update to say that over the last 2 months he's had 6 communications from parishioners, 3 letters linking to mental health issues, 1 regarding roads and 2 on other. And he has also confirmed that he has asked for the new salt bin on our behalf and is paying for it out of his locality budget. So that's that one. I've had some correspondence with the post office at Wolseley about the van because we've had some problems with parking. I'm hoping that's all resolved now. I've updated them, but we'll just have to monitor the situation. They were asking for a change of location because they were having difficulty parking when they were coming along. But they do accept that it's more convenient for a lot of our more vulnerable residents to stay where it is. So we're just going to keep everything in abeyance at the moment. We'll just have to see how things go. Just for awareness, there is a National Rough Sleepers annual count being undertaken this month. I think we're fortunate in that we don't have that problem in the local area, but it's obviously it's happening everywhere, and all councils are being asked to submit that information. The Torridge draft strategic plan has been forwarded, and that's later on the agenda. So that consultation is open until the 14th of November. So if there is anything to be submitted, we need to do it this evening. Quite a bit of correspondence with highways about various road issues. There have been some conversations about improving signage and trying to slow down cars, particularly at the bottom end of the village, coming up from Hill Park upwards towards the school. One of the highways inspectors came out to have a look. He has said the current signage is correct and it's in the right location for the school, but he did say he understands that it's not that visible, especially when the hedges are growing. So he said he can request slow markings to be painted onto the road, but it's got to go through the traffic team for assessment. So I've asked for that to happen. Oh, and again, we'll just have to see whether we get anywhere with that one. They're also in the same location. I know the parish council has sort of tentatively talked about having another vehicle activated sign in that location. The Devon County Council will need to do a full review on that to assess whether it's necessary. So even though the parish council would pay for it, the council can only install it if Devon Highways approve it. So I've asked them to do a review, but it may well come back to say it's not appropriate for that location.
Can I just make
Yes.
a comment, ask a question? It may well be that you're well ahead of me in the game with this one, Joe, but the one up at the top end by the allotments, there is a mass of data stored in that which may help some sort of business case. I suspect it needs offloading. I mean, I've seen it sort of periodically in the past.
Yeah, I did try that, but they will have to do an assessment in that particular location.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they basically have to do it within a certain area, which is quite a small area. While the inspector was here, he actually did stand there with a speed gun, and based on his assessment just in that very short period of time, it wouldn't actually qualify.
Well, no, I mean,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
we all know that there are key times, and the moment they see
Yeah.
a speed gun, everybody.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, what I have said is it's worse at different times of the day, and I would hope that it's not going to be done on a very quiet day, especially in a school holiday or something like that. So we'll just have to wait and see, but it's in, I've put the request in. Whether we'll get any further, I don't know. Right. The Footpath Partnership, Richard Hooper has asked me to quickly update you on this one. Just before he went on holiday, he replaced and repositioned a damaged sign on one of the footpaths. And when he was liaising with Devon County Council, it was suggested that it would be prudent for us to put a grant application in sooner rather than later for next year. So I have actually submitted that already to get in quick. Richard had given me the information based on his conversations with them. So I submitted that on Tuesday.
Thank you.
All right, so
Thank
that
you.
is for the 24-25 budget. Right. The pay award for clerks has just been published, so that obviously that's one I'm interested in. And that's just the new figures for 2023 are just confirmed, and that is effective from the 1st of April. So I do need to do an exercise just to backdate some pay for myself and also for Wendy. All right, so I'll do that in the next couple of weeks. Website replacement. I've received one quote of between £12,000 and £16,000 to
Sorry, what's this for? I missed that.
website.
Website.
The quote I received was between £12,000 and £16,000 to create a website similar to the size that we've got. Obviously, depending on what content we wanted, that would determine where it fits in that scale. So I think we can park that one. There is also a £1,500 per annum hosting and service fee. So I think that's a non-starter. I've discounted another company because when I did a bit of digging, it's actually an Israeli company and it's got mainly US servers. So even though a lot of local schools are using it, I don't think in the current climate that's probably one to go for. And again, that was quite costly.
Can I just comment? I believe that we're not allowed to use US servers.
No, we're not. It's got to be UK based. Yeah. I was looking at that one because, as I say, a lot of schools in the area are using it and they're supposed to be have the same requirement. So I'm not sure how they're getting around that. So I've got a call booked in tomorrow with another company. So I'll let you know how that one goes. Right. I've had 3 letters in.
Sorry, can I just go back to that one?
Yeah.
There's a local person who does website. I don't know if it's worth contacting locally. John Hector.
Yeah, it's not the programming, it's the platform I'm looking for at the minute.
Fine, I don't know.
Yeah.
Listen, that is all gobbledygook to me.
Yeah.
But whether he's asked what he does do, I don't know. I just like his local person. I can ask him, see what he says anyway. But
well, let me see how I get on.
fine.
I've got his contact details. That's
everything
fine.
else is through. Everything else is quoted through the roof. So just
Yeah. Right. I've had 3 letters in about the council laptop from last meeting. That has raised a few comments. They're all, raising similar concerns. So the fact that the laptop was gifted and that it was a council asset, that the council has had to pay for another laptop to replace it, and the data. As I say, 3 people have actually raised serious concerns about that and thought that it was treated quite casually, and they were very alarmed by that.
So, what are you proposing? What's the insinuations on this? It was done by the chairman of the last parish council, but all I can tell you is that was a outstanding clerk. He did a lot of outstanding work, for a lot of work. He never got paid for it. It wasn't passed through the parish council. There was no motion about it. I didn't know it was happening at all. I don't know, but so we as a parish council are you saying that we got to decide what we can do about it, or what?
Well, no, this is correspondence from parishioners.
Right.
So what I was going to say is that obviously it has raised some alarm bells, quite understandably. But what has actually happened is the council, it didn't go through the correct protocols. It didn't get raised with the council for a vote to take place, and that is what should have happened.
Yeah.
It should have been properly documented, and it should have been wiped of all data before it was handed over. Now, we have received confirmation that there is no council data on there that is not in the public domain. I have made sure that we are fully compliant with the Information Commissioner's Office requirements as far as data breaches. It is not formally reportable through the ICO, but I've taken steps to make sure it is fully documented so that the council is completely covered with the action that has been taken since this has come to light. So I do understand what has actually been raised, and I think if it came across that it was being treated casually, it hasn't been treated casually at all.
So it's been dealt with. It's been dealt with. Sorry, what does ICO stand for?
Information Commissioner's Office.
Right, but again, I can reiterate. The parish council at the time knew nothing about it, except it was done by someone who's not elected on the parish council now. But it was presented to him, unbeknown to the then parish council or this parish council.
I would like to make a comment, if I can.
Yes.
Being one of the councillors that was there, that we discussed what we were going to do with this old laptop that was getting out of date and needed replacing, and decided that if it was quite clean, you got a brand new one to carry on with. Now, seeing you've got a new clerk coming into the position, and that was the reason.
So you're saying different, but I couldn't have been there or whatever then, but I can't recall that meeting, that parish council meeting, but that was, if it was discussed, it was discussed.
It was discussed at a meeting.
And it was voted on and passed.
I can't really remember that, but I mean, I know we definitely discussed
Fine.
it, saying things get out of date,
Yeah.
what it's like after
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
It would be only right for us to give the new clerk new equipment.
Yep. Fine.
That was what
Yeah.
we decided to do.
Right. So
That wasn't documented anywhere, and that laptop had only been bought the year before.
Sorry?
The laptop we're talking about was only purchased the year before. Is that the same one? Okay. Okay, right. Well, obviously that was what was raised, and
Sorry, Joe, can I just clarify? Are we talking about two different laptops here? Are you saying it was a very old one and was out of date? And Joe's under the impression that this laptop is only a year old?
So there's two laptops. Sorry, go on.
I wasn't the one using it, so it was the full council discussed it.
So if the laptop was a year old, then there must have been a previous laptop. So we don't know which laptop we're talking about.
Well, it was the one that was in use at the time.
Yes, Councillor.
Yeah, that's what I just wanted to clarify
Yeah.
with Councillor Mills. Was it the old one that was out of date, or have we got two laptops running around the place?
So,
So I just wanted, because I'm sure everybody else is
Yeah.
confused about this, because I am.
so there must be an old laptop running around somewhere.
Yeah.
Go on.
I guess I can't remember the discussion, but that doesn't mean anything.
No.
But I guess the issue is that it wasn't written in the minutes, I suppose, wasn't it? That's
Yeah.
the problem.
Yes.
That's what should have been done, really. But I can't remember the discussion, but that don't mean it. Or
No.
Are we saying it wasn't in the minutes?
Wasn't in the minutes, no, because the minutes for the whole of the year were looked at that was picked up by the auditor as well.
Because I just think the bugbear, Chair, is that this is a laptop that was basically bought by the money in the precept, and it's been given away, and it's not been minuted as to why. And I'm not doubting for a moment that, but it's not been minuted.
So what would you propose we do then?
I don't know, I'm being guided by the clerk at the moment.
It is all fully documented now. I mean, obviously we can't go backwards. So we are where we are, and
Yeah.
so I've documented everything as it stands
Yeah.
now.
Councillor Mills? You?
I was just thinking about
Fine. Right, so there has been
So-
error made then, and
So
then
it's-
you've set it all out in the public, and it's documented now
yeah,
as such.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, the money, you can't get the money back. The laptop, the new laptop's been bought.
No.
So,
But in theory, then there should be another laptop running around anyway.
no, well, there shouldn't be. No,
Well, there is, because if that one was 12 months old, then there's one before that, wasn't there?
there
But
was
anyway.
yeah. Well, I'll have a look into that and find out
Yeah.
what happened with the other one. Right, the Remembrance Sunday. Obviously, that's happening this week. I've got the wreath. The chair normally lays the wreath. So,
Yes.
Yeah. So just a quick reminder.
That'll be 11:15, so be there at 10:30
Yeah.
outside. Oh, sorry? Yes. And the wreath is where?
I've got it.
You've got it. Thank
Yeah.
you, ma'am.
I will bring it up. Yeah.
You'll bring it on.
Yeah.
Right.
And a letter came from Geoffrey Cox today. I will scan it and send it over. But there are some requests in here for support. So the first one is about a roads petition. He wants to put in a parliamentary petition, so it actually goes into the House, and the government's obliged to respond then. So he wants the petition to come back by Friday the 29th of January. Now, we can get this circulated, and every opportunity to get it signed, I think we should take that. The only thing is, it cannot be online or anything like that. It's got to be a wet signature, and it's got to have full name and address and your signature on it for it to count. So we just need to work out how we can actually get that done.
Do you want to do that now, or do you want to do it?
Well, I think if anybody would like to sign it this evening, you're very welcome to.
Yeah.
And then we should, probably the Christmas market would be a good place to get a few signatures, but anywhere else that we can,
Are we
yeah.
allowed?
what's the petition for?
Sorry, it's to petition to get more money for Devon County Council to improve our roads. So what he's actually highlighting is that the criteria that they're following at the moment is just to tackle the A and B roads, and it just
Potholes and
overlooks,
potholes
it
and-
overlooks the smaller roads
Yeah.
completely.
He talked about it in his surgery.
He did.
He did. This is following this up. There's also a request which he would like back by the end of November, and this is about levelling up, and he would like all councils to complete a form just to say what their priority, they would like the priority to be as far as levelling up. There are a few projects that have been listed, but it's a case of really considering, what we would like to get submitted. I will scan this whole letter and send it to all councillors, all right, so that you've got it. But
So
as I
do
say,
we go out to, once we got it, do we go out to parishioners?
well, the projects that have been named on here is the restoration of the Bideford-Barnstaple railway line, the expansion of the Holsworthy Agribusiness Centre, the redevelopment of the Taddyport Creamery site, the creation of a Bideford Maritime Heritage Area, including historic ships and a maritime heritage centre, and the rejuvenation of Bideford, Northam, Torrington and Holsworthy town centres with a town centre improvement scheme in special retail zones. So those are 5 that have already been identified. But as I say, it's got a really, really tight deadline on that, and obviously it was too late for the agenda.
That's going to be back by when?
End of November.
Oh, blimey.
Is that all the options there are then?
You can submit anything you like. Those are just examples of
They're all-
what he's already received.
Ought to be something about affordable social housing, really, doesn't it?
So, yeah, you can submit anything you like.
So how are we going to do that, Joe? Do we do it as individual councillors, as individuals back to you? How are we going to feed that back?
Well, I think maybe if there are some ideas, I mean, it's not something that's going to be able to be voted upon unless there is going to be another meeting in November if we have planning applications in, for instance.
Yeah.
So if not, then I think we're just going to have to circulate ideas and then see what we'd like to support. And the final thing on there is about letter, post and broadband, and the fact that there are problems with delivery of letters and broadband availability in rural areas. He's asking for feedback and specific experiences, if there's any anecdotal things that can be shared to help him to push that forward. So as I say, I will send that whole letter around, but those are the things that he's asking for support from the community as a whole, really.
So we can put that on, we can put that on, print it off and put it on the notice boards there.
I
Make
can,
it-
yeah, I can
no,
get
people
some,
can never look at it around.
I can get some
And on the
information.
website, is the website working enough for that?
We can-
Facebook?
Yeah,
No.
yeah. We can certainly get something on Facebook. I'm sure we can get something onto the website. It may be that it will have to go in somewhere near the minutes, because that seems to be the only place where I can get anything loaded successfully at the minute. But I can put something on there, certainly.
So you can do that, so,
Yeah. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Is that your forte or is that up and running yet? The website stuff, the Facebook thing? With, right, you liaise with Joe, so we can get it out there. Brilliant, thank you.
And that's it, thank you.
That's done. Cool, blimey. Right. Updates. 122, sound quality in meetings. Decision whether to purchase a standalone voice amplifier or similar to assess the benefits. Anybody want to start?
I can start on this. The feedback we've had, the feedback I've had is if people use their microphones, it can be heard. The device that Jane was wearing, or is wearing, should I say, that one, people could hear in here, but they couldn't hear her on the YouTube. So it didn't amplify that. I've been speaking to Lee Honey, who's quite hot on this sort of thing. He doesn't think we can do anything in here because, I know you hate me saying this, but the system's quite antiquated for the new stuff. I know. His words, not mine. But whether we can look at maybe something for the parish council to buy, I don't know. We're looking into all sorts of various ways.
Fine, but isn't there something that we can't, as a parish council, be seen
No,
to provide anything?
No, we wouldn't provide it for this. It would be owned by the parish council for the parish council to use.
So it's
So we
then got to
wouldn't be
be...
giving it to the Methodist Church chapel.
Fine, so there will be demarcation line.
The problem is that whatever, if you bought a system, it's got to go through that box. Oh, so it won't be going out to the live streaming?
Well, we can, because we can buy something ourselves that will live stream to, we could live stream it straight onto the Facebook page, because that's where everyone's looking, and we can also upload it to the YouTube channel. But
But
we
it-
wouldn't come under the umbrella of Method.
Well, and also you wouldn't have such a good picture, would you?
No.
Well, that's probably good in my book.
So tell me then, at the moment, so not everybody's on Facebook, but at the moment, this is going to Facebook.
No. This is going to YouTube,
Yeah.
and I put a link on the Facebook page for people to be able to view this. But we could upload it anyway to YouTube.
So it will, as long as it's going through this system, because there seem to be a lot of people on this system, is all I can tell you.
Yeah.
Listen, it's way above my pay grade. Did you have to get somebody else?
I think on average, there's about, I'll probably take out all of us looking at the YouTube channel about 5 times over to check things. There's only about 90 odd views on the YouTube channel. But I do think we need to be having this so that people can watch it in their own time.
Fine. I was reading in the press, there is about, well, percentage, 1% of parish councils, although Councillor Pennington will put me right, that is out there in God's country. The rest of them are still like here.
I don't know if 1%. I think you'll find it's a little bit more than that. Ones I've actually done research on, they are actually coming on board with having
Yes.
this sort of thing.
It's going to happen in the end, but I mean,
Thornton Ledale, for instance, was an interesting watch.
yeah. But again, there is, how many parish councils in this area? 60 in Devon, is it, or whatever? No. You're a leader. Thank you. So the upmarket area of Torridge District Council and all that, are you going out into God's country?
Some things get followed, other things don't. And those that haven't got electronic means will never have electronic means. And there's going to be a real crash in a minute because banking and money transactions are now being done electronically. And there's an issue for the countryside that I think we have to hold on to. Actually.
Yeah. But anyway, fine. Listen, it is way above my pay grade. You can carry on, do whatever you think, long as it's in the majority of what the parish council says.
I think the
and what
bottom-
we're allowed to do through the clerk.
I think the bottom line of this at the moment, I think Joe will agree, is we've got a lot more research to do on what we can get. Obviously, your system is great for the pictures, it's just the sound, but we need to be using these.
Yes.
Unless you use the microphone.
Can we, sorry, can I ask Dave, why can't everyone have one of these?
Because there's only two channels in the box.
Can you shove a few more channels in there?
That's above my pay grade.
That's
too.
over. Right. Thank you. Enough time on this. Right. Sorry. Yeah, moving on. Sound quality. So actually, it's got here, you need a decision. Is that right?
Well, it sounds like it needs to be in abeyance until
So do we
there's
need to have a
solution.
vote?
No,
Or we
'cause
put it
you've
in
got-
abeyance? You got to, on this minutes, you got a decision.
Yeah, but there's no decision to be taken, is there yet? So are you?
So we're
So
having a decision on
that
put
you-
it in abeyance.
Yeah.
Right. Propose that we put everything on this in abeyance. All in favour? Anyone against? No. Thank you. Right. Decision regarding a request for funding contribution to the North Devon Records Office, Buckland Brewer Parish Council archives documents are held there. Right, which one shouldn't, but we have been giving, I think, £200 a year, is it, Joe, or David, you're usually one driving this, to North Devon Records Office. But Joe has done our, what we're required to do on a due diligence, sorry. I've been drinking tonight. And to be honest, it is a massive company, and the only downside that I saw on of it is, with all due respect, is the profit margin and the money they got, but they cannot guarantee that what little Buckland Brewer Parish Council present to them will be used for Barnstable Records Office. It can go anywhere.
Well, it's Dublin Cornwall, Dublin Somerset.
Yes, but it's not Barnstable.
Well, it is because it used to be kind of funded by kind of Dublin County Council. They used to put a lot of money into it, and the Torridge and I think North Dublin used to as well. But then all the libraries and all the records offices were got rid of, really. And this trust, I guess it is, isn't it?
NDRO, North Dublin Register Office, is a tiny part of a huge group with company in charitable assets, Southwest Heritage Group.
It's a charitable type thing. But
significant funding of 3.6 million last year, and assets of 2.4 million, of which 1.9 million is in cash, pay notes.
I wonder if some of it's in assets as well.
Well, you got 1.9 million in cash. If Joe Watts found out, is what it is. So,
but the North Devon Records Office was nearly closed, and there's a load of stuff in there from Buckland being kept in there, into Barnstable. What you would have to do is it would all move down to Exeter.
So it would still be saved, but it moves.
Yeah,
it moves to Exeter.
They would move it to Exeter. So every time you wanted to go and see it, you'd have to go down to Exeter.
What we're saying is we're putting, which £200 could be spent on something else in North Devon, in Buckland Brewer Parish Council, that we are saving the Barnstable office from being moved to, or helping to save Barnstable office being moved to Exeter.
Yeah.
Right. Bearing it up there in the mat. Anyone else want to say anything? We've got to come to a decision.
Sorry.
Yes.
So what you're saying is if our little old £200 doesn't get paid,
No, it's not that. We and several other parish councils and other organisations pay some money because it was a letter was sent out asking for funding. Barnstable Town Council put in a lot, 10,000 quid or something like that. Other places put in money. Say we have lots of other organisations have put money into it. So it's a resource. It's a resource there for this area. And there's
what's sad is like what Joe just said. It's not necessarily actually going to the one in Barnstable, is it?
Sorry, is what Joe is not what said. Is what's come out on the research. It's not what what's comes on this. Okay.
Sorry,
anyone? Can I just ask Councillor Pennington, in your learned view, does Torridge give them money, and do you send all your records for kept at Torrington or Barnstable?
I don't know the answer to that question, Chair, so I will find out for you and come back to you if you wish. I echo, I think what Councillor Watson said. I think it's all going centralised at the present moment, and I don't know the answer to your specific. I don't know what Torridge gives them, but I suspect Torridge does give, but I can't confirm that at the present moment.
Well, all I know is if all I had to say this would be ring fence for Barnstable, but it can be sent anywhere, and they have direct funding of 59,000, 10,000 pound from Barnstable TC, DCC and SWHT, whoever that is 49,000. And listen, what does the rest of the parish council think? Councillor Lowe.
I suppose really it's a case of head or heart, isn't it? Listening to Councillor Pennington, and I guess we all know that centralisation is absolutely inevitable, but by withholding a small contribution, do we want to be the potential final nail in the coffin? I think is the question that I would have to ask myself. And I suppose I would be inclined to say, for my own thoughts, that perhaps we should try and continue to support them for one more year with a view to finding out what everybody else is doing, you know, Torridge, etc., probably in the knowledge that it'll be the last time we get asked anyway.
What you could do really is you've raised some concerns. Why don't you kind of send that back to the records office and see what answers do they give to our concerns?
Oh, questions?
Can I just?
Yes.
It's all in their accounts. All of the information I've shared with you is taken from their accounts, which are all in the public domain. And as far as grants they get grants from multiple councils. So Somerset County Council, Devon County Council, North Somerset, Weston-super-Mare, Torbay, Bath and North East Somerset, South Somerset. The list goes on. It's there's all sorts in there. There's even Bideford Town Council. They get grants from DEFRA.
Bideford Trust? Bideford Bridge Trust?
They are getting, North Devon Records Office are getting something directly from the Bridge Trust, but they haven't actually stipulated how much that is. It's not disclosed anywhere.
The other thing it's, sorry, Joe, the other thing is concerning me, it's the running expenditure has gone up 50% from last year. It was 57,000, no, sorry, previous year it was 57,000. It's gone to 84,000. It doesn't say here what's jumped that up 50%. So, listen, it's £200 extra could go to local clubs to what we do around here, extra money, whatever you want, but it's been put on we have to make a decision as what the minutes say, or the decision has to be done. So I will, unless anyone else got to say anything.
The only thing, if they didn't look after it, and it was kind of, you know, if it was down in Exeter or wherever, we would have to look after it. So whether somebody wants to keep it under their bed.
Sorry, what do you mean?
Or documents that are safely and securely kept up there. If we didn't want to, you know, if they weren't looking after it, we would have to look after it.
It was just said that it will be going to Exeter.
Well, yes, they would be. But if we didn't, if we wanted to look after it ourselves, it could go under somebody's bed or something, couldn't it?
Well, yes, if it's centralised in Exeter, then we either use £200 for up there or whatever, but our records will be saved either at Barnstable or Exeter, as I understand it.
I guess then you wouldn't want to pay for it.
How about we would make a suggestion to the council? I know several people who use it for research and things like that. I would like to propose, perhaps, or suggest anyway, that we paid our £200 this year, and we asked the records office to send somebody down and talk to us.
Yep.
And see what's happening.
Would you like to propose that, Mr. Councillor?
I will propose that, yeah.
So the proposal is, Councillor?
To pay the £200,
Yes.
and ask the records office to supply somebody who got the
Knowledge.
answers to our questions.
Yep.
To come and talk to us.
Right. All those in favour of that motion? I'll second that as well. Oh, you may need a seconder, apology. All those in favour of that motion? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, all in favour. Right. No, I've lost my minutes. Agenda. Right. There he is. From the Northern Farm. Discussion regarding public transport 124. Discussion regarding public transport and agreement of any associated actions to be taken regarding current and future bus services. Anybody want to start the ball rolling? Yes, Councillor. Yes.
It was something I had in members' reports, and it may or may not be There is one that will go on the members' reports, but you may recall last time we met, I said that a parishioner had suggested that it would be nice to have an extra bus pickup in another part of the village, and I just passed that to my bus contact at Devon County Council. That's David Ovington, and in fact I opened an email today. It just said, it was sent late yesterday, saying that apparently a representative from Devon County Council, who rarely visits Torridge, was hoping to be here in Buckland today as part of a wider tour to, you know, to look at the feasibility of an extra bus pick-up and drop-off. I think it's important to bear in mind that we as a parish council have no real influence over what happens with bus services because they are underwritten and subscribed by Devon County Council, and we just get a grant. And Devon County Council, John Hart went to great lengths recently to assure us all that Devon County Council wasn't going to bus, but I think there's been a fear that the grant might be reduced and we might lose what buses we've got, I think. Not happened yet. So anyway, this representative has gone down to the bottom end of the village to see whether it's feasible to have another bus pickup. I don't know much about bus driving, but I do know that they have to be able to go forwards. They're not
Nope.
legally permitted to reverse with customers.
Quite right.
on board.
Quite right.
So they're just going to assess whether or not it's even possible. And at that stage, David will mail me, and I will make sure that our clerk knows so that everybody knows what the fellow decided.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other? Councillor Watson.
Yeah, I mean, I asked this to be put on because in some ways, we almost need to kind of look at the whole thing around buses. I mean, at the moment, the bus goes from here, it goes to Littleham, goes to Parkham, and ends up in Bradworthy. And goes all the way to Barnstable. In my mind, what we could almost do with, and I don't know how we could do it, or if it's at all feasible, is almost like you need a bus, no, not even a bus, like a minibus to regularly, perhaps several times a day, just go from Buckland to Bideford, because that's all you need, because once you get to Bideford, you can go on a bus to anywhere you like.
John O'Groats.
Councillor Hurley did that a number of years ago, and it was completely unused.
We did do it on a Saturday, yeah. Exactly, because we funded it and somebody...
Yes, we did. Yes.
And nobody used it.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know, that's, to me, that would seem the best thing to do, is somehow find a way that there could be a kind of rolling bus.
What, instead of...
Well,
tell the bus company to bypass Buckland.
No, you could do it on the days when it doesn't run.
When they don't run.
You know, because at the moment, people, you know, if people wanted to go to work, they can't. It's totally useless for that. So.
But what's the need for it? Do we know?
I don't know.
How many people are going to use this bus?
No.
Because
I know.
Councillor
Yeah.
said that bus was never used.
That was on a Saturday.
That's just what I was
I was
going to
going to
say.
say, could that
Survey.
But to me, that would be, because I know there's people in the village who are moving out of Buckland because they're worried that when they stop driving, they won't be able to get anywhere. And so I suspect that there is a need, you know, for at some stage.
So what are you proposing? What do you want to...
I don't know. I think somehow we need to find out if that is at all possible. And I don't know who.
So how does one go about that?
I don't know.
Well, the only way we can do it, Chair, is by putting out a survey.
Yeah.
Within that consultation is for seeing what people have to say then, I suppose.
So to save costs, then you put it in the same survey as industrial site. All in favour?
Put it on the survey, yeah.
To do this, put it on the same survey? Yep. That's what we'll do. Okay. Thank you. Review of Torres District Council Draft Strategic Plan. Agreement of feedback proposals to be included. Public consultation is open until 14th of November. So, Joe, where do we start from here on that then?
Well, I forwarded the plan. I've just put it up on screen now. This is the whole plan that Torres have actually sent around. This is the whole plan that's been sent to comment upon and advise if there are any additions to be made. Now, it's really not that much of a plan, in all honesty, because if you strip out everything that Torridge is responsible for on a statutory level, then and things that are already in progress, there's not really a huge amount left in there. But having said that, I mean, I don't know quite what else you could actually ask to go in there, because there's all the stuff is already covered generally, whether it's with regard to planning, whether it's with regard to, you know, health, housing. It's just very, very high level with no detail around it. So, in all honesty, I don't think there's very much you can add into it, but it will be interesting to see what detail comes out later.
So what you're saying, then, are they asking for the Buckland Brewer Parish Council to say something? Or is this to throw it open to parishioners of Buckland Brewer Council, or individual members of Buckland Brewer Parish Council reply to this?
It's the public consultation is gone out to all councils, so it's at council level, because obviously this is coming down to all councils and first and foremost, but because obviously you're representing the parish anyway. But as I say, it's so high level, I can't really think of anything else to add into it, personally.
So can I just ask Councillor Pennington? What are you expecting the Buckland Brewer Parish Council to give a decision one way or another of this, or to review it, send in individual replies, or what? That's a big word. That's a big word.
To make a collective response.
Sorry?
If you wish, as a parish council, to make a collective response, good. But it's also open to every member of the public to make their response to this draft strategic plan. As Joe's or your Clark says, it's a high-level document. It seems a little bit higher in the air. But it gives a direction upon which this new council, which was elected last May, put it together in August, basically, and now refined it to this point, will become a document after it goes through the consultation process, of which there will be the direction of Torres District Council for the next, now 3.5 years, effectively, because we're nearly halfway through the year at the present moment.
So how do the parishioners get out of this then?
Unfortunately, the only way it seems to be is on the electronic means these days. You know, you can go on the website, you can ask for paper copy, and you can make your comments on what what's on that situation.
So what you're saying is, yeah, so what you're saying is, anybody, unless they got absolute urge to listen to Torres District Council meetings or whatever, have got no knowledge of this being out there or reading the press. So this could be one of your Facebook.
I thought you might be looking into that. Yeah, we can do that.
Well, with a, you know, it was explained on Facebook. That have a good look at it. And
Well,
What about next month's village scene?
its public consultation is open, and
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Yes,
It is out there. It has been mentioned in various press things. It is out there.
Okay. Well, it can go back onto the. We'll put it onto the. Facebook.
so when you say, sorry, when you say it's open until the 14th of November, does that mean everything got to be in by the 14th of November?
Yeah.
Your comments have to be in to Torres District Council by the 14th of November. Today is the 8th of November, so next Tuesday,
accessibility anyway, so they're not really, but they're just reinventing the
The
wheel.
wheel.
Sorry, that sounds a bit rude.
No,
but you
yeah,
know what I mean.
yeah. Right, so anyway, we'll do our best to get it out there. If you can push that out through out there. And God's area. Thank you, yeah. And, yeah.
Just as a matter of interest, did anybody have any ideas to submit anyway from reading it, first of all? No. Right, okay.
I got a terrible mission. I haven't read it yet, so. Yes. Right. Yeah. We can move on. We're moving on. Parish Council Facebook group. Agreement of responsibilities and how the group will be managed. Well, open to everybody because above my pay grade.
I set the Facebook, it started a month ago, we've got 139 members on there, and that was within literally a couple of days. And I put it out there who would like to be an admin, and so far I've got myself, Joe, Dave, Sally and Kath, which means at the moment that only we can put posts up in there. But if we put a post up on there, for people who are not okay with Facebook, it means that we can stop commenting or people can comment. Now my view is that the parish aren't children and we can monitor this, and I think we should be allowed to possibly, and I've thought this to you guys, is that the parishioners should be allowed to post something. If they've got questions for the council that they would like brought forward, if they're not coming to the surgery or not coming here on once a month, that they can ask a question, and that obviously we won't be answering it, we will bring it to council and it can be discussed there and then. And that's one of the things that I wanted to bring to you guys. The other thing is, what are we doing right and what are we doing wrong? You know, we need that sort of feedback from the parishioners.
Just a couple of questions I just want to ask is, I mean, what you're saying is the monitors, so anybody on a parish council can come on the monitoring, yes?
You can all come onto Facebook and you can all join that group.
Yeah.
I was set as the admin as well as Joe, and I've set these guys as admin, so they can all comment on that Facebook.
Yeah, but a parish council member can be on that admin group.
Yes, of course.
Yes,
Yeah.
fine, thank you, fine. That's what I wanted to gather. So, right. Well, like I say, I'm above my pay grade. But anyway, any other comment? I just think that one or two may want to go on that, whatever you call them, admin or whatever bosses.
They're already on it, George. They're already our admin. I wanted to bring this on today because I need your permission. I don't want to do anything behind Trevor and Jane and your back where you think that we're doing something on this page without you being consulted first.
But your proposal is that you'd like to take questions from the parish to bring here, and that's the proposal. And then when the response is given, obviously it's minuted, it goes out on the network. Would you then give the individual reply back on the Facebook page, or would that person just pick it up from wherever?
What it would do is obviously the minutes are going to go out onto the Facebook page, and that's basically, if they're going to give us a question, it will be discussed here at Parish Council, and it will be there in the minutes for them to read, and I can individually let them know their answer to their question anyway. That's not a problem for me.
And moving forward, and I'm just sort of thinking a few years hence, clearly you've got admin folk here. How difficult will it be, and I'm not wishing anything on anybody, but somebody sort of falls in a ditch and they need to be replaced. Presumably that is totally manageable.
I delete them, and that's it. They're gone.
And then a new nominated person can be created.
The other thing is, if we're going to allow people to kind of post things directly onto it, there ought to be, one of the admins would have to agree.
When they post something, it doesn't go directly onto the Facebook. It has to come through us, the admins, and we will see a notification. And if it's something incredibly rude or something like that, we won't be putting it out there. It has to go through us to be monitored, and if it's allowed out there, a little bit like the community page, Sarita, she does that. So we're monitoring all the time, and we can turn off commenting, we can turn on commenting, we can do anything we want to, really. We're in charge of that Facebook page.
Okay.
Sorry, you finished?
Yes, sorry, George.
Yeah,
I was
no.
sort of thinking out loud. I'm so
Well, what's perturbing me is with all due respect, is who decided the people who would admin and monitor it. There's 3 people here, and not mentioned. First of all, I would not interested in being on your.
Because you're not on Facebook, you
Yeah,
guys,
that's
I put it out there who would like to be on admin. And I put it out in an email,
Yeah.
who would like to be on admin, but you guys aren't on
Fine.
Facebook. So
Got
it made it a little bit
So
difficult.
it is parish councillors who
It's
are
only
admin.
parish councillors
You're on
are
admin.
admin.
Thank you. So I wanted to know. Right, so that there's no decision on that as I see it, or has it got to be a decision got to be made?
I'd like a decision that
For?
we can put out questions of, are we doing things right, are we doing things wrong? Getting some feedback from the parishioners so that we can bring this to council and make sure we're giving the best service that we can to these people.
Would you state your exact wording for this proposal, please?
Oh, you've lost me now.
Yeah,
Would you state your exact wording you want for the proposal for us to vote on?
For basically for the admin on Facebook to have a degree of control. Monitoring control.
All in favour?
No, I'll be against that anyway.
All in,
Like I say, that is above my
I agree.
pay grade as well.
Would you like to enlarge on, you're free to enlarge on that, so give an enlargement. If you don't want to, fine.
Well, it's just that, no.
No, fine. So all again, anyone against is Councillor Mills? Right. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for one and 1 for again. Okay, move on. Thank you. Above my pay grade. 127. Hunts and hunt, or trail hunting, this should be. Meets have been taking place. I will read out the exact word in here. Meets have been taking place on Thornleigh Moor without formal approval. A. Decision whether to permit trail hunting, you got the wording wrong here, it's trail hunting, to take place on parish-owned land. B. If trail hunting is approved, decision whether to insist that the hunt seeks permission before every meet so the parishioners can be notified. Minimum advance notice period is also to be agreed. If trail hunting is approved, decision whether any specific restrictions / conditions we impose to use Thornleigh Moor for hunting. Just a bit of background for this. This is the hunt over the years has asked or informed the parish council when they're meeting in the village by the pub or up by the whatever. On Thornleigh Moor, they have never asked permission. We as parish council own Thornleigh Moor. There was an incident that perhaps Councillor Khan you reported an incident from a parishioner approached you, is that right?
Yes.
Would you like to say what that is?
They had their dog and they were walking the dog and they said that the horses and the hounds came running up and they just grabbed the dog, picked it up and ran to the car because they were running towards them, sort of thing. So she was very frightened.
So they had just the one dog, yes?
I believe so, I'm not sure. She didn't say how many dogs, but she was very concerned and she didn't know if that happened all the time.
Well, I approached the hunt about the incident there, whatever it was. There was all I can say is they're very apologetic. There was one person saw someone up there well away from the hunt, but then there were a couple of hounds, dogs didn't go, went up around there. But I will read out a letter from the hunt. It's to whom it may concern. The Stevenson hunt would like to apologise for any unintended distress caused when at Thornleigh Moor. We were unaware of any issues at the time, but are more than willing to consider any suggestion of how to prevent any future issues arising. If you would be willing, or in a position to share the contact details of the person concerned, it would be greatly appreciated, as we would like to take the opportunity to apologise to them directly. Please do not hesitate to contact us should you have any queries or would like any further information. Further on from that, I have asked the hunt to supply their insurance details for public liability or whatever, and they have issued with any members who ride with them that they have their own public liability for their own horses, whether they're going out roads or whatever. Also, you have asked for information when the hunt is going to meet at Thornleigh Moor again. Now, in a discussion with them, there is a downside. There's an upside and a downside. We all know about anti-hunt and saboteurs and all the rest of it and the violence it can do. So in all their members, what they do is they give a week's notice to all the members they got on their list of where they are meeting for trail hunting. They are prepared to put a sign up on Thornleigh Moor, and on the morning, put it in a prominent place, look after it, whatever they can do. And on the morning when they are going there, they will write on the sign of time, date of everyone's there. Now, we as landowners have the right to stop anyone on the moor. There is no public footpaths on the moor. So if you're going to start thinking about stopping the hunt, then, or have them inform me when they were there, you're going to have to think about anybody who goes out walking dogs on there, because there is no public footpath out there. You are, so it's very
Sorry,
open.
can I just break in here, because this isn't what has actually been shared with from our insurance company.
Sorry?
It isn't what's been shared by our insurance company.
I'm telling you, I'm sorry, I'm saying what they're proposing to do. We can come to the insurance company in a minute.
Yeah, but I mean, what you're saying, we haven't got to stop people from walking on it, because they are permitted to walk on it.
With no public footpath, with
Yeah.
cattle and sheep there,
Yeah.
without the permission of the parish council. How are they allowed to walk on there without the permission of the parish council?
Well, it is deemed as common land, isn't it?
But it is owned by the parish council.
Yeah, but for
So therefore, if you're saying that on the common land, then the hunt can go on there as well.
no,
Why is that?
because there is a risk to individuals. I mean, walkers are not going to be a risk to general public.
Well, I'm sorry, it depends if they've got these rock pit bull terriers and pit bull things and whatever.
Yeah, but it's a whole different thing, isn't it, with
Well, not
horses
necessarily.
and dogs? Well, I'm just going by what
Yeah.
our insurance company has said.
Yeah.
And as far as the council could be deemed negligent if it doesn't communicate when a hunt is meeting.
Fine. So if they put down this notice and tell them whenever they are...
That's not, that wouldn't be deemed to be enough notice for notifying parishioners, because
So-
the council has to be the ones to notify the parish.
So how many days' notice are they talking about then?
Well, I would suggest that at least a week's notice ought to be given to
Well,
people.
what are you going to do about any hunt saboteurs or people
Well,
trying to disrupt a pastime that's gone on for generations then.
Well, that's not the council's responsibility, in effect. The council's obligation is to make sure that individual parishioners know that there is a hunt going on and they have the opportunity to avoid that area if they choose to.
So if there's a notice up, then they can.
Well, no, because you'd have to go to
Why?
physically. You
Yeah.
can't have it so that somebody's got to physically go to the moor to see that notice. They have to be given the opportunity to avoid it.
So I'm asking you, so why do you need a week's notice, a day's notice?
Well,
Why about a year's notice? I mean, so where does the length of time come? I'm only just asking these details.
Well, I mean, ideally it would be even more, because we've already established that not all of our parishioners are actually using online means to get information.
Well, I'm saying it would
I think
be...
on a practical level, then a week's notice is reasonable, because we can actually post notices, but I would say that's the absolute minimum.
Well, I tend to disagree. I disagree with that situation. So you on this agenda have put on a decision, and I'm asking for thinking about asking for a decision to defer this for discussion, because you want a decision on it, and we discuss with the hunt openly with what is. I've only just gone on and just to find out, to report here what is possibly feasible and all the rest of it. See, because, so am I right to ask for a deferral on this?
You can definitely defer decisions, so 127A, you can defer that decision, but from a council liability perspective, if the hunt is allowed to continue to use the moor pending a longer term decision, they will still have to provide advance information, because as it stands today, the council still has to communicate that. That is effective now, because otherwise...
So you'll get a written report from your insurer, or from our insurers to put that down, yes?
That's already been provided to you.
And they want a month's notice?
No. They're saying that you've got to give reasonable notice to parishioners to be able to avoid the area.
So if there's a day's notice, and they go out and see this notice, or if their notice is up, it is a notice, isn't it?
Well, no, because it can't be in the area. You've got to be able to communicate it. So you've got to be able to put it on the website, on Facebook, wherever, Village Scene, wherever is appropriate, in advance of that meet happening, so that people don't have to physically go somewhere and stumble upon the information. It is proactive by the council that this information is communicated in advance, because that is what covers the council. As long as you have communicated, you are not negligent in any way.
Right. The length of time of communication is one to be ascertained.
Open it up.
Just taking that stage further. Just at the moment on the moor, there's only one person with animals on, because of the simple reason of TB and legality of mixing TB stock and everything else. So if dog walkers, if there's all animals mixed up together with a lot of animals up there, and people who have dogs walking it frighten and scatter and attack animals, sheep or whatever, surely they have to give find out if permission to walk that moor.
Individuals, no.
I don't see the difference.
Well, there are notices up, aren't there, saying about keeping dogs on leads and things like that. I'm sure there are signs.
Dogs on lead,
But I've never seen a dog on the lead out there.
If you're referring to the banned breeds, then they come under they'll be now coming under section 1 under the Dangerous Dogs Act. They've got to be muzzled by law.
Yes, and I'm talking about ones that attack, frighten animals and all the rest of it. So they're not on leads, whatever. That's why we always say anybody wants to use their dogs or walk their dogs, whatever, can go on Thornleigh Moor. It's a big area, 110 acres out there.
I think it does say it, and if your dogs have got to be under suitable control while they're up there.
So anybody with a dog off a lead then is liable then. Yes, that's the point, yeah, right. So, sorry, Dave.
I just wonder what, because obviously we're not the only, this is not the only moor that they obviously go on, I guess. I wonder what the hunt procedure is with other places, other moors.
That's why I want to defer this
Yeah.
to find out a discussion. You've got packs on Dartmoor, you've got packs on Exmoor. I mean, you've got trail hunting for stag hounds up on Exmoor, and you got packs everywhere. And I just don't see why a few people can stop something that's happened for the last hundreds of years or whatever without a good reason. But as long as we're covered and we're doing everything legal, whatever, it needs a general discussion. So I would like a vote to defer this, if that's all right with the clerk, as you said it is, to defer this for a discussion over, and the chairman who's away said he would like a deferral on it.
Well, you can defer the permission decision, so that if you want to look at that and whether you want to look at the long-term
Yes.
considerations as to whether you allow a hunt to take place or not, that's absolutely fine. You can defer that as long as all councillors are happy with that.
Yeah, with majority, yes.
But the communication process must still happen. You cannot defer that. We've been told that that must happen.
Fine. So we can have a discussion with the hunt and tell them our difficulty, and then we take it from there, and we can then finalise this, because they're not going to be there again for another month, at least, because they only come on Thornleigh Moor about 2 or 3 times a year.
So is another hunt going to take place before the next meeting?
Can I just say, can we ask them not to use more until we've had a decision?
Yes,
Would that be,
we can put that to them.
can you just let us have a decision and not use it until we've...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what we want, yeah.
Fine.
That's a really good suggestion, because at least that's
So I am putting this, that we defer all decisions on this for further discussion, have a discussion with the hunt, and all in favour of that proposal. I will need a seconder. So all in favour of that proposal, raise your hands. Anyone against? Unanimous.
So that includes them not using it until we've had that. Yeah.
To that discussion, yeah. Right. Moving on. 128. Discussion regarding the funding and installation of a new shelter, subject to the requisite external approvals for use by bus passengers and while queuing for the post office van. Anybody want to open on this?
Yeah, this came up in the informal chat that we had here in the chapel, surgery, whatever you want to call it. A parishioner spoke to me. The school children aren't being collected outside the shop; they're being collected by the TK instead.
What's a TK?
Sorry, telephone kiosk. And the kids are getting wet before they even get on the bus. So for some reason, the school bus is picking up there. And she was wondering, I think there must have been a bus stop there once before, whether a bus stop can be put there again. Also, that would double up for people waiting for the post office. There was many a time there was a queue there, and people get wet. And she's even looked into, the cost about, I believe we'd have to go to highways though, would we not?
Highways don't have an objection. We will need to go to Torridge Planning.
Right.
But I'm told there's no funding. It would have to... Yeah, and any landowner, yeah.
So, right, so who owns that there then, Trevor? Right, so there seems to be a hard stand where there used to be, and that would be out on the pavement. So I wouldn't imagine a parishioner By the TK, by the
Telephone kiosk.
telephone kiosk.
Pub side?
Sign is.
Pub side?
Yeah, pub side.
Yeah,
Pub
that-
side.
That's
That
owned
was a
by,
milk stand,
Oh, is it?
Yes.
yeah, and it's
which is Longbourn.
Yeah.
owned by Devon Highways.
Well, that would have been the farmer, that would have been Baptist Butchers.
Yeah.
So that would be owned by Devon Highways, wouldn't it? It's not by a
No,
parishioner.
where the milk stand, where the owned by the owner of the milk stand.
Oh, right. So a parishioner owns the milk stand?
Where it was,
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm just confusing
we'd
my
have to
head scope.
confirm that. But,
Right, yeah. Well, anyway, she's looked into this, and they cost about, for these types of bus shelters, about £1,000. But, sorry.
So no, I mean, obviously, research into cost, I can give you some information about what is already there. That cost £2,000, and that was a few years ago. Councillor Boyle from Devon County Council then actually managed to get that some sort of windfall funding from the sale of Exeter Airport. So it's a case of where would the funds come from? And the other danger, I suppose, you know, all these promises are made, but it's a comment again that I was going to make under members' reports is the post office van, and is it going to move? If it's going to move, how long is it going to be there? Because, and this is just anecdotal from the blokes that have driven the van, the thing's on its last legs and there are no definite plans to replace it. We might end up having to sort of fund one ourselves with the Plunkett Foundation. I'm just thinking, is this really a nice to have? I mean, if the existing bus shelter was on its last legs, then it'd be a different story, really, wouldn't it? I mean,
The bus isn't stopping by the bus shelter.
Can we ask the bus to stop in the bus shelter?
I don't know, yeah,
I don't know why, because that bus shelter's there.
Yeah.
Why? And also out there, logistics, people walking, if they're going to put a bus shelter there, they're not going to walk on the road to get around it.
But
And that out here.
would the bus go down that way?
It does go down that way because it goes to Parkham, doesn't it?
Oh, right.
yeah, it comes from Bradworthy.
Yeah, it goes-
As I said, it's got to go in one direction all the time. It comes
Yes.
from Bradworthy. It may not in any way,
I
shape
was under
or
the impression that kids were meant to be picked up by the bus stop here, this bus station, by the shop. So we need to look at why that has suddenly stopped.
because they can't turn around.
Oh, I thought it was coming up from Parkham and then coming out. And
Yeah, it comes out and goes around.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
There's several buses, because I thought there was
Yeah,
one that
yeah,
goes to the school, isn't there? To Bideford School and
Torrington School.
Torrington School
Because you've got
sometimes
Torrington.
comes that way. That might be
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
Sometimes comes up Borley Hill.
Yeah,
And
that's the one I've
probably
seen.
why.
I mean,
I will put out a Facebook post to all the parents and find out where their children are being picked up, because there's two different schools and there's 2 or 3. Yeah. However many schools are being picked up and where they're being picked up from.
vehicles we're talking about. I'm talking about the public service bus.
So this is the school.
Well, they put their coats on, they wouldn't be, would they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Umbrella.
That's right, yeah, we used to get wet.
Yeah.
But yeah, because the bus shelter outside was obviously funded by the parish council or wherever the money came from originally. But yes, I don't think very many people actually use the bus shelter over the years. I think they stand outside really,
Yeah.
don't they? They all come rain or snow.
And I think that's more the college bus now, isn't it? Because if the school bus going to Torrington, I say normally see it coming that way, so then it's not going to go. They're not going to wait there to come through. They wait out here, don't they?
I mean, they wait over there from outside. But I mean, in some ways it's a good idea, but
Where?
would it get used as that? Because they don't use that one. Nobody uses that one.
I have to say, I can see them all standing out on the road, waiting for the bus there, not down the road.
No, they
The
don't
bus
wait.
seems to always drop them off in the green.
Yeah.
The only place you could put it is on the green,
Yeah, it always used to be, always has.
Where?
on the village
When I
green.
went to school, it always stopped out there,
On the green.
right by the green, you know, where the telephone box is.
When I went to school, the horse school one.
But it depends which way the bus is going to travel. As I say, the public service vehicle has got to to turn right at the
I
left
think,
at the
I think the best thing we can
chapels
do is find out from different schools
Yeah.
where they're dropping off and everything else, and then we'll revisit it again.
Fine. So we're going to, then, it's not a decision, we're going to refer it to a later date, yes? So we got to have we got to have a vote on this, Joe? For altering decision to referral?
It sounds like you're all in agreement anyway.
So you do want a seconder and a proposer? Fine. So we'll put that for further discussion. Moving on. Right. 129, budget planning and precept preparation. Decision whether to schedule a dedicated budget meeting ahead of the tax base notification. Joe?
Well, I just mentioned this when I sent the information out. If you'd like to have a dedicated meeting just to start drafting the budget, obviously the budget itself and everything associated with it, all the decision making has to be in a council meeting. This is purely a working group just to pull everything together. So if you would like to do that, then we can schedule a meeting at the end of November if everybody's happy with that date.
Councillor Lowe, you were a bit concerned.
I really would like to get my head around all of this, and a working group seems the way to do it.
We won't be able to finalise it because we will probably never have the information
No.
from Torrid, but we can break back on
We
it.
can get a feel for it, can't we?
So are we fixing a date now or what?
If everyone's happy, we could do 30th.
And where?
We'll meet here, won't we?
Sorry?
Yeah, we'll meet here, I guess.
Meet here.
Yeah, well, because it's a Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, so that would be
It's
fine.
free.
Well, yeah, because we've always got.
No. What I meant is,
We
no, it's not free.
not.
All right.
Dates free, the pool's free.
It's available. I was rephrasing
That's
it.
the word.
That's the word.
That's
Yes.
the- But what we've always done is to have two parish council meetings in that month. And that we have one where we do the budget, which is in the beginning of the month, and then we have a normal one at the end. So,
Well, the only advantage to this is that if you have an extra meeting in November, you might not have to meet in the Christmas New Year week period like we did last year, because you should be able to sign everything off then at the council meeting at the beginning of January.
Right. So we're proposing we have our meeting on the 30th here at 7:30, and it's okay with David. Sorry, 7:30 on the brain.
That's a working group chair, isn't it?
It's just a working group.
And
The
who is the
council.
working group? You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Sorry. Who's on the working group? The whole council.
Yeah.
Right.
would that be
But
open to the?
no, but it's not a public meeting. It's
Sorry.
purely to pull all the information
It's a closed
together.
meeting then.
Yeah.
It's a closed meeting. Yep. Right. Okay. 1:30. Members' reports. Okay. Councillor Mills.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to see on the agenda for the next month is the progress of the post box at Brewer. Nothing's happened is what I can say. It's been removed and the entrance has been widened and no post box on that.
I thought that post box was dead. I thought it was closed. Was it not?
They said at one stage that it was going to be reinstated.
Who? The post office.
Yeah, yeah.
It is in progress with the post office. It's up to them to schedule it, but that we
Oh,
have
right.
we have got agreement that there will be a post box. But I will find out whether there's a time frame now, and I've put it on the next agenda anyway.
Right. Councillor. Yep.
One other thing.
That's fine, yeah.
I saw that the drain at Glen Bridge has been cleared. Council being and done that, but there was a terrific flood there, so that one's gone. That's it.
Thank you. Councillor Lowe.
Yeah, I've mentioned a couple under. Sorry, is that better? Oh, Right, I'm sorry. Yes, I've mentioned a couple of things already, so I won't repeat myself. But the great news, fantastic news, the church seats a very kind lady called Julie Bowden phoned me up the other night. Will help, she and her husband. We need somewhere to work in this rubbishy old weather because neither of us have space. And the initial thinking was, if the parish council has absolutely no objection, is that we unbolt the seats one by one and take them to the bus shelter so that they can dry off, then work on them in the bus shelter because that's relatively dry, and then replace them. As I agreed with Julie and her husband, it will take forever and a day, but it seems like the only feasible plan if we want to do it this side of spring next year. Hope people are happy with that. Well, we'll find out when we go and have a look. It really is suck and see, but I'm just so grateful to have an offer. And re the bus, just, I don't really know quite, but I got a complaint from a parishioner who was a spokesperson for the bus crew that get on here. The bus has broken down 3 times in a very short space of time, leaving passengers stranded. So I have loyally passed this to my contact, David Ovenden at Devon County Council. He said he was aware of 2 of the incidents which were reported back by Stagecoach, but he wasn't informed about the 3rd. He is actually going to protest quite strongly with Stagecoach because obviously, as I said before, Devon County Council foot the bill in terms of grant allocation for our bus. So I'm just going to get the exact breakdown times from the parish bus rep to go back to David so that he can remonstrate with Stagecoach. And moving on, postal delivery and service and the petition and etc. there. Our clerk knows that I've been in touch with Sir Geoffrey Cox since his visit in August. At that time, I raised concerns about post not reaching us in good time, and I've been advised by various postal workers, not just here, but Bideford-based ones, that the post is not always sent out daily, and other horrifying things. I told the MP this was anecdotal, but the indications were that this wasn't an unfounded accusation. And Sir Geoffrey advised me at that time that he was concerned that a statutory duty was not being complied with. And that he'd contacted Royal Mail for an update, which he suggested would be in his circular that's been through all our letterboxes this autumn. It wasn't there, so I chased the MP's office, and they're currently in correspondence with Royal Mail, and since then our clerks told us about the various petitions and this type of thing. The MP's office will update me in due course, and as soon as I know what they've said, then everybody else will know. I think that's it, because I've said everything else under other things. Thank you, Chair.
I have just one very short one. Gorwood Cross. Joe, the sign that says unsuitable for wide vehicles has been damaged and it's on the ground. And I'm obviously concerned about lorries or anything coming that way and getting stuck. So I think it's been damaged by hedge trimmer, I would have thought. Or it's been knocked down, but it's on the ground. So.
Not guilty. Not guilty.
Maybe not.
Sorry, I haven't actually asked Councillor Pennington if he would like to make a statement or anything, or a member's... Oh, have I? You have? Right. District Councillor Dupont, yes. I've got, I just got a couple of things. With my snow warden's hat on, I've had a couple of good results with our chairman's help and hard work. He's cleaned out all the, all around the salt bins around, and we sent in a report on his modern list of whatever, and all the bins are going to be full up and full sometime. And we asked for a proposed new bin, which Councillor Morris has paid for, down at the bottom of Cherry Vale, so that one's coming. And I've obtained 5 ton of salt in big bags for when the weather comes and I decide to send find out when Torridge District Council is coming around with their, no, not Torridge, it's District Council coming with their salt spreaders who leave us until at the end of the coup. So, and I will ring up our salt spreader who will spread it through the parish. Now, just to inform everyone, the route we take to try and cover everyone, you can't cover every road in Buckland Brewer Parish because it's a huge parish. We start from where the salt spreader will start from, which is Goldsley Farm, Fishley's, the contractors, and they come to Thornlead Moor and down through, around the back down to Tillycott and down through up round Cranham Hill, come straight across, and then we turn right at Thorn Cross up there to cover the route for the milk tankers down at East Hill, then back around the route where the bulk milk tanker goes for welfare out to Babley Cross, then back again and up through the village and all the way down to Hooper's Water. So that's the main in and out route that we use, and over these years it's been successful. If anybody got complaints, then we can't afford to do all of it, but I will try and incorporate anybody else if they want to do anything on that. So and I expect decisions, I'm going to have decisions made middle of December with hard frost, so who knows. So anyway, that's my report. Carrying on. Gav.
It's just a couple things. A couple people asked about soap, as soap bins was brought up last time, and just said we're at Brendan Cross last year. There was 2 bags put down, and within a couple days they were gone. And I think there was one at Twitching Hill. I think somebody put a bag at Twitching Hill, and that one at the top by Winslade, and that one there was gone. So they asked if they could have some soap bins, because there's an awful lot of water that goes down, and there's a lady that lives down the bottom has got a business, and she says a lot of traffic comes down, a lot of water, and that's Twitching Hill. And then you've got Brendan Cross, and going down that way there's a lot of water going down there too.
Right, well, if you put that on this map where you want them, then I will contact towards Devon County Council Highways again and see what we can do for you.
Yeah, sure.
It won't be down to us, it'll be down to what they'll do for us, okay? So
That's fine. And then somebody else has contacted me about a dog poo bin, whether or not there is, they take the dogs for a walk, they go around, usually, is it Gorwood Way? And they were just saying whether or not they could have a poo bin near the sign as you're just going out, and then otherwise you've got to carry it all the way around. Well, perhaps some people don't, I don't know, but we do anyway when I take my dog anyway. But it's a long way round.
so where are you talking about?
Do you know where Gorwood? Do you know where Dawn's place is?
Yeah,
Dawn,
by
by
there.
Dawn who?
Dawn Drisky's.
You want one there?
But just down a little tiny bit, or round that area somewhere.
Where's the nearest one from there?
The nearest.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Back on Barton.
Back at Barton?
Well, no, the nearest one back on there will be near Ashton cottages.
There's one in Orley Close, and there's one
Near Tucker Park.
Yeah, there's one on the footpath there, isn't there?
Tucker's Park is the next one up.
There's end of back lane. There's one end of back lane, isn't there?
Yeah, this
Yes,
end.
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
By Tucker's Park.
So who pays for these bins? Council?
Torridge District Council picks up.
They do. So we contact.
Pay for the bin.
Sorry?
You've got to pay for the bin.
We got to pay for the bin.
What about emptying it as well, though?
Sorry?
How much are the bins?
Any idea how much?
How big a bin do you want?
To be fair, all the bins are full.
Yeah, they
I
are.
know there are a lot of people moaning in the village that there's dog muck everywhere.
So
Okay, so the first question, I don't know, I can ask our waste recycling manager to look at the collection rate if you've got a problem.
please, we have. Sounds like it.
That's the first point. I don't know where all the bins are in Buckland Brewer, actually, so
We've got 2 up at the claim
You'll have to go on a map. Can you get them put on a map?
One in Orley, one down near Hill Park, and then.
But they should know, sorry, they should know, the collection, people who collect from Torridge should know where they are, aren't they, shouldn't they?
They don't know where they are.
Yeah.
I don't know where they are.
Oh, I say, you don't know where they are, right, okay.
I haven't walked the dog around Buckland.
No.
Could we ask for bigger bins to be put in with the main ones, like this one out here, the big ones that are always full, and then use those smaller bins and put
I
one
was going to
of
say,
them
the one in the main,
Yeah, it's not big
by
enough.
the telephone box is always overflowing. So it might, if we could have a bigger one there and then that one gets moved down to Gorwood, that would be working, wouldn't it?
So, sorry, going on the finance of it all then, did you say that we have to pay for the bins?
Yes.
And are they special bins, specially designed?
They're red with the dog with
They
a...
are.
So
With a dog crouching.
who do we order them through then?
Our waste and recycling manager will do it if you and he will look at it, the feasibility. There have to be a risk assessment about is it safe to stop, etc. All these things will go on, and sometimes they get approved and sometimes they get turned down.
Fine. But for enlargement bins, who do we contact? Same person?
Same person. If you put a larger bin in the same place, I can ask if they can, if there's, or a more of a collection rate than you've got at the present moment. Either the same bin is collected more often,
Yeah,
or you put twice the size of the bin in.
right. So thank you, Colin. So to move this on quickly then, what do you want from us? You want a map to where the bins...
If you've got the site, send it to Richard Haste, operations manager, and look at it, and I will ask, and say the council has this wish, but you have to come to terms with the council. Speaking collectively as Dorchester Council, we've got 64 parishes, and everybody would love more dog bins.
Fine. So for...
There is a problem, and I can quite see that there will be resistance to putting in more dog bins because it requires more work, more travelling, etc. And I do think it's a responsibility, and I'm now speaking as a person, not as Dorchester Council, but I've been elected, but I do think there's a responsibility on dog owners to bring where there is the situation. But when you say the bins are full, then I think it's a responsibility on Torridge to make sure those bins are collected. So in one sense, I want to see the collections good, but I don't want to see bins going around all around the countryside because they get broken, they get vandalised, and they last a little while, and then somebody comes along and does it from that sort of situation. So that is where the situation. But if you wanted it as a council, I will try and support you in where you want to place it if you come that decision.
Fine. To move this on, we have to ask Richard Hayes for more coming out the lorries, more pick it up. Is that right?
That's right. If
So-
bins are overflowing, there is a health risk.
Right.
And there's an
So-
environmental health risk there, and that needs to be addressed.
So we can ask our clerk to send, write or email to, would you have got Richard Hayes' emails, knowledge and information, all you need for that?
I think this is actually one of the reporting options anyway. So I think first and foremost you can do it through that reporting option to even order a new bin, and then we can take it from there because presumably they'll contact me off the back of that anyway. So I will do that straight away.
Brilliant. And emptying the bins, yes. Brilliant. So job done, right? Moving on.
So still on the subject of bins, sorry, Chair.
That's all right.
Barton Road, a member of the parish was wondering if waste paper bins, we got people just dumping litter near to Barton Court. And I have to say, we do that loop quite a bit, and it does. We've got people here that are great. They do pick up the litter that's been left. But again, you're going to have to say the same thing, aren't you, Phil, about the... It's going to cost a lot of money to put a bin there, but it's something we could look at. I think people are trying to keep the place clean, and there are some outsiders that are quite happily eat their McDonald's and then just chuck it on the lay-by there.
Are they actually going to stop and put it in a bin though, or are they still going to chuck it out?
Well, precisely, but I mean, a lot of us dog walkers will pick it up, and I don't particularly want to carry it around on my walks, but if there's a bin there, I would probably be more likely to put it in there.
So when would these ordinary bins be emptied then?
Well, that's, yeah, yeah.
I think it would be the same situation as we've got in the amenity fields, where basically we've got to empty it ourselves.
Is that the new bins that have gone down there? Because everyone's chuffed to bits. I've never heard people being so over the moon with some bins. That
So where do we then, when they're full, what do we do with the stuff?
We have to empty them.
Yeah, but where to?
Well, you have to put it out with your own rubbish.
Sorry?
You have to put it out with your own rubbish collection.
Which then, do they pick it up from outside the village hall then, do they?
No. It'll have to, yeah, one of us takes it home basically and puts it out with our own rubbish. Because
Right.
that's what
So
I'm going to
what
be
are you
doing with the amenity
suggesting-
one.
Are
what
you
do you-
doing the amenity?
Well, yeah.
So what are you suggesting about Barton? And that Barton put it out with theirs then, when he's full?
Yeah, or I mean, I'm sure we can find somebody who's quite happy, but especially, I mean, even the person who probably suggested this would be more than happy to go down and empty the bin and put it out with their rubbish. I think if it's keeping it tidy and whatever, I can't see what can...
So how about financing the bin? And you're talking the parish council finance the bin and a stake in the ground to put it, to hold it in place? Is that what you're
I
suggesting?
would presume that would be the same, because it's not the same as the ones down at the amenity field. They pick up and walk away sort of bins.
Oh, they're just weighted at the bottom. You basically put a
How
weight
much
in the
do they
bottom.
cost?
About £200 each.
So you want to put a proposal then
I am putting up a proposal that we have a bin in Barton Road.
for the parish council to pay
Yeah,
for
a bin
and erect it?
and erect it, yeah.
And then who is going to look after it after that?
I would it probably end up being me, but I would quite happily go down and empty it myself.
Go on.
At least,
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be obstructive, but I didn't think we could do proposals out of members' reports.
it'll need to go on the agenda. We can put it on the next agenda, by
We
which
put
time
it
we
on
can get
next
all the
agenda.
information.
We're
Yeah.
away with ourselves,
Right.
won't we? Yes, absolutely.
Next agenda. That's brilliant.
And very
Fine.
last, obviously we called it a surgery, but the informal meet with councillors, myself and Dave, we did that last month. It was successful. We had people coming in talking to us and suggestions. Some suggestions are on the agenda tonight. And the next one will be on the 6th of December here. Kath will be joining me on that one. But hopefully we'll get some evening ones, Sal, because I know you work. So, yeah, it was a success. Had brilliant feedback over it. That's all.
Thank you. Councillor Watson.
Right then. The other day, I spent the afternoon up at the records office looking through our minutes and things like that. It was very interesting. I think you ought to. I think we spent that 200 quid several times, haven't we, by now? No. Okay, well, just a few points that have come out. And actually, a lot of the things that they were talking about in end of the 1890s is the things we're still talking about now. They first met in December. There was 9 councillors. And it says, the minutes say, it was marked by good humour and kind feeling. So there you are. At the time, the fields, as they were known as allotments, I guess then, were rented. They come from Mark Rowe. He was the local landowner as such. And I think that was already in place when the parish council took over. And then the parish council used to rent them off of Mark Rowe, and then the parishioners would apply to kind of have a field, and they were interviewed at a parish council meeting, and so they would pay, the parish council who would pay Mark Rowe. And they were split into kind of 6 parts. Interestingly, Hymns plot, the area is 1 rod and 15 poles.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, things around footpaths. There was a complaint. There was a concern about the state of Back Lane.
Endless.
So nothing changes. And things like they had to discuss in 1898 whether to light the fire in the wintertime because councillors were feeling cold. Another thing.
Where do they meet?
Down the school.
Down at school.
There was, I think the fire was still there when I was at school. Anyway. And then they wanted to, there was the start of kind of actually wanting some more kind of land for use as allotment, individual allotments. But at times the parish council seemed to be quite forward-looking, because in 1907 they wanted to look into the cost of getting a telephone into the village. Okay, this was obviously too much for some people because they had a parish meeting and there was a resolution passed opposing a telephone being brought into Buckland. Perhaps they thought it might turn people into chickens or something, I don't know. But then actually the parish council said, is that binding? Is what the consultation with the kind of people of Buckland, was that binding? So they asked that question. Interestingly, when we come to kind of thinking about consultation, is that going to be binding? Obviously, it wasn't, because they carried on and
Did it?
Okay, so that's something to think about when we think about our own consultation. So, and in the end, they kind of, I got a loan of, or a mortgage of 650 quid to actually buy all the land. So it belonged to kind of the council. Interesting. It actually cleared up in my mind why the Black Horse allotments weren't all used. They were divided into 10-yard plots. And they were all different sections, but actually, because I can only remember the Black Horse Field, which was the football field, was fields.
Yep.
But what was happening was that someone would rent all the bits that were left over of the ones that didn't get used as allotments. So they had like 12 pieces. And that cleared that up for me, anyway. But yes, so Back Lane problems, Goosey Lane mentioned. So something exactly the same, but a couple of things there. It was interesting to read. Interesting things.
Would you like to write a little article on Facebook?
We'll have a look and see. But the thing around the kind of the consultation, that's, I think we ought to kind of think about really, is that going to be binding?
You open a can of worms. Anyway. Right. Members are done. 1 through 1. District Councillors report.
Shall I come to a microphone?
Yes, please, sir.
Or on that one, thank you. I will be brief. Yeah. Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Good. Dogs, I'm sorry I sound so negative about dogs, unfortunately, but part of my ward when I first became a councillor was Bideford Woodland by Ford House. It was a lovely area of woodland, and Bideford Town Council bought it. And dogs went in there, and they went off the leads, and it actually ruined the wildlife in there. And I had more calls about dogs than I had about anything else in the first 4 years I was on the council. And when you go to Victoria Park, dogs on leads, we've had to be really strict on dogs on leads because children have been affected in the area. So when you come to dogs on leads, I do apologise when I say that's where I'm coming from, okay? So there we are. But I will ask, and if you can give me the maps, I will certainly follow up on the questions you're asking, walking around Gower and all the rest of it. So I follow that one around. On a big tribute to our waste and recycling services, last Thursday was Storm Kieran. and they had to abandon the round down at Heartland because the headwinds were coming on the coast, and if you've got green bins and all the rest, it's not the best way of collecting. We've not got it right, I do admit that, but I want to say thank you to those teams because by Friday morning, everything has been collected in the area.
Cool.
And they do a really good job. I think they do hard work, and it's quite risky in this type of weather, and when you're trying to deal with cardboard and paper, not the easiest thing in the world from that side. Litter, we've had success. We've had another £100 fine on somebody who dumped their lunch after they finished down on the barrows. So if you see anything in the countryside, it is a big bugbear of mine. Apparently, if you go to Friston Hill, it's Kentucky Fried Chicken that gets most of the situation because it takes longer to eat chicken bones, apparently. So when you're coming up from Torrington up through Friston, but around Biddyford is the other national supplier. And we've had about 22 or 3 prosecutions in the last 4 years. And you will see them about the countryside. The whole packet will be thrown out. I actually found one once. Interesting to find that the girl put the stuff out of the window to give to the car driver and put his credit card in the bag, and he threw the bag out with a credit card. And I couldn't believe it. But when I took it into the Environmental Health Department, and they followed it up, because of data protection rules, the banks wouldn't give details of who the credit card belonged to. But I was finding it incredible because the credit card was unsigned as well at the same time. So when you think that you could do I think it was £75 worth of stuff at the time, and all the rest of it, what a risk they were running, and they should be grateful that they got back from that point of view. But what I'm saying is, we are really keen to stop this little bit of littering that's going on that really does spoil the countryside all the time. So if you see something, let me know. If you can take a photograph and where you find it and the time, and if there's any proof, we're trying to get the suppliers to have records of who bought what and when at the time, so go from that point of view. Bit of Victoria Park. I've had a couple of negative comments. Torridge owned bit of Victoria Park. £280,000 is going on a new play area in there, and 1 or 2 in the distant reaches of Torridge. When you say Torridge goes below Holsworthy by another, I think it's 8 miles to the south of Holsworthy. People say, well, why am I paying my council tax to fund £280,000 worth of equipment from Victoria Park? Just to put your minds at rest, there was £150,000 from the Rural Prosperity Fund, £119,000 from Bideford Town Council, Bideford Bridge Trust, and £10,000 from Bideford Town Council. So we've got a lot of new stuff going into the park, Victoria Park, without the trouble of the situation of people feeling that they're funding something that they can't get access to. So peace of mind from there. And lastly, just been announced now, I haven't got details exactly, but I've driven to Torrington for the last 40 years and watched a redundant creamery that's been standing like a tombstone. And when you think of all the industries that were in Torrington years ago, from Holston Machinery, Cobbledix, the mill, the creamery, North of Meat, Holston Machinery, it's in one sense a town that died to become a town that's got 2 good nursing homes in it. So you go along to Torrington now to die, I suppose, really. So it's almost gone back in full reverse. But the good news is there's become a cooperation which includes Torridge and the administrators of the people who own Torridge Villa down there to level the site. They will hopefully start now. So it's been a real bad sign for Torrington just to look at something that's been so derelict for a long time. But I think we really want to see this, if we can, at least level before we can see what will come forward to the future. What's really hampered it is the asbestos that's been in the building. Companies have been frightened to take it on, but hopefully we will get somewhere now and get something going in that area. And I will take any questions. You've done the Torridge plan, so you've got it all there. Personally, I just don't think there's enough in housing as it should be, because we are the planning authority and we should do more in housing. And I shall be making, I have made representation on more emphasis on affordable housing, basically. So So that's where I come from. I'll take any questions and I'll go.
Yeah, reading in the North Devon Journal a while back, I don't know, Bideford Town Council or whatever, Torridge, but they're spending £3 million on revamping a library or whatever. I forget what it was. Now, £3 million to me is one hell of a lot of money. I mean, £1 million will do a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
Why the full amount, and which property was it?
Right. I will have to look up the answer to that one. The history around there is the issue coming to Bideford from Parchill.
From where?
From Bideford, from Parchill. If you come past the police station then,
Yeah.
you've got the library, you've got the Bideford Town Hall,
Yeah.
and then you turn up to Bridge Street, and on the other side you have what's called Bridge Buildings.
Yeah.
They've been sold. And we held on to them for too long, really. They only made about 375,000, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
I can't quite remember looking at what they actually did. There's scaffolding around them, and they're in the private sector, and we're waiting to see what they're going to be used for. When you look at the condition of the buildings, and I will get some answers, Chair, to your question, there is a lot of money required for those buildings to come up to standard.
£3 million is a lot of money. Anyway, so that was my question. I couldn't, they were revamping something, and I can't remember what it was. I do apologise. Thank you.
I know that for the Daisy Chain, which is a day service, people with disabilities have been offered the library.
Right.
But there's a lot of things that would need to be done to it, and it hasn't got any outside space. So
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, that building, I think, is what's called the Carnegie Building, was built by American whatever it is. And
Philanthropist.
Centre when you're doing your history, which is you're quite interested to read, like, you know, and it's become a liability. Old buildings are a money pit, and there's no other way.
I know that. Any other questions? Thank you, Councillor.
Any other questions? No, nothing. Oh,
No.
one from.
Jane.
When Torridge District Council, I don't know who, says there should be £100 fine
Yeah.
for the likes of Alison Holmes every time they,
Yeah.
who monitors them?
Who monitors the £100 fine?
Yeah, who
Actually,
decides when they need, every time they break it? When people put in these clauses, who monitors it?
Are you talking about planning now?
no. Who monitors if a lorry's dropping mud all the way around? There's £100 fine.
Yeah.
Who monitors that he should be given £100 fine, and who monitors where it goes to?
Well, the Environment and Health.
When they should be fined?
Yeah, who monitors when they should be fined?
Sorry, can I break, because I got a feeling this is something that's, that was Alison Holmes that have imposed the fines. It's not the planners. It's Alison Holmes fining contractors and subcontractors for breaches of contract. It's not anything to do with planning. No, it's an arrangement that because there are so many complaints happening, when we escalate a problem, and if we can provide proof, information to Alison Holmes so that they can identify the contractor, they will fine them £100 and the money comes to the parish.
So who monitors that then?
Well, I monitor how much we're getting back based on what we've reported in.
So it's up to us then, is it? Our time to put in a complaint?
Well, if anybody,
When they drive up all the converges?
if people advise me that there's the complaint and I submit it, then that's what I'm monitoring, because those are the only ones that I know about.
So we aren't then, the people who put in the complaints then?
Yeah, if that's... I'm not aware that there's a fine process for planning.
Okay. I mean, the problem you're talking about, your developers down here on behind Orley Close and all the rest, aren't you? Okay. Situation as I understand it, okay, there's been various meetings, and Joe, you work very hard on working with the guys. They've come to the meetings, they've put the point of view across. It's been a mess up here, there's no way I can say it, and it's a development that's been, in one sense, the wrong place because you haven't got the infrastructure in Buckland, to keep the roads clean and tidy and all the rest. and there's been, you know, it's been a learning process because there's been too many houses in a small village. Get that, and that we have to learn from that point of view.
No, we could have told you that at the beginning. That's why there was objections.
Sorry, Joe, my ears.
That's partly why there was objections, wasn't there, in the beginning?
Yes, that's right. But the way the local plan was, we had very little chance to oppose the houses being built at the time. It's slightly different now because we have what's called the 5-year land supply, and we can now oppose in a stronger way. But going back to where we are now, okay, if I take it, Alison Homes fine their contractors if they come out onto the road now with mud, etc., and they impose fines on the lorries. Trevor, you've been involved with.
Yes, I've been sending several photographs and stuff, but whether we've received anything, I don't know yet.
Yeah, the parish has had £800 so far.
That's 8 times. That can happen in one day.
Well,
That's its pittance.
it's based on what's
The
reported.
time to record that, okay, is directly to Alison Homes when they come here, okay, and I have spoken to a lady called Helen Mason at Torridge District Council on several occasions about what's happened here in Buckland on the sort of questions you're asking. I mean, the planning applications have now been passed. Once they're passed, it's a legal document to say that they're in force. We cannot withdraw them once they've been passed, but we have to try and make do with the best we can. And I think Alison Homes are listening to the distress they've caused to the village. Mightn't seem like it, but they have come to meetings, which other developers, when I've been around other parishes, haven't come to meetings. And I think that you need to ask, what are they going to do to compensate the distress that you've experienced here in the village? And from my point of view, Torridge is the enforcing council, that if there is evidence, we keep on passing that in and saying, look here, enforcement, this is still not being enforced correctly under the what's called a SEMP. And I can't remember what SEMP stands for now, but there is a management plan then to make sure that lorries and everything else leave the site in proper ways, basically.
It's all very well, Councillor. If this was in the southeast, they would be banged up in court. In the southeast, they're not allowed to drop an ounce of mud on the roads up there. They got everything fenced off. They got people, and councillors have got people reporting them, and they hammer those guys. Down here, I'm sorry, yeah, you can say what you like, you know, development, it brings people in and all the rest of it, whatever. But the enforcement here, they're getting away with blue murder down there. Absolute blue murder. And on all the building sites that I've seen with Alison Homes, Bradworthy and everywhere else, and I speak to people who live around there, they're the worst builders of the lot.
Well, there's just starting at Winkley as well. So
Well, you want to get somebody out there doing something about it, because we are getting, you know, it is outrageous what we've had to put up with, what other areas in this country do not put up with. And if you did the development in the middle of Bideford, what's happening, and all that mud come out there, you can see everything's done. Your Torridge District Council run around and jam everything up. But out in the sticks where we are, all carries on, with all due respect.
And they've also, there was the car wash. There was like, wasn't there? There was a car wash right on the entrance as you're going in on the right-hand side. Well, they're building there now. So I don't know where the car wash is. So if it's further in, then they have to come through all the mud to get out. So they're going to. So have they actually got the roads? But it's pretty messy down there, isn't it, Joe?
I think we made a big mistake in refusing. We made a big mistake in refusing the help from our MP. When he was here doing his, what do you call it? Clinic surgery, he offered to come and help Buckland Brewer, and we said, "Oh, we're okay," but that was a big mistake.
It's
because
available.
he'd sorted Winkley out, and he offered to help us, and I think we should go back to him.
That's fine, it's available. What I was going to say was, if there are planning breaches and you want it to go through to Torridge Planning, that reporting button on the website includes planning breaches, and that goes straight through to the planning team for enforcement. So all the same location for, you know, the road issues like potholes and that, it's the same location, and the more of us that complain about it, the more likely something is to happen. Because I raise everything with Alison Holmes that I'm told about, but obviously that is stopping at Alison Holmes. So if we want it to go into Torridge planning, obviously Councillor Pennington is helping us with that. But we all need to report it individually as well, because that will make the difference. The more complaints there are, the more they've got to listen.
I mean, Pierce Homes have done a good job down there. I mean, you know, they've done 50, 70 houses. I mean, anyway, thank you. Yeah.
I hear what residents say, and I am distressed by some of the times I've gone through Buckland, against Rickards Road down there, and the mud that's been, on the houses down there. All I can do, I can't stop them. But
No. Just pass our things on to the wherever. All right. Anyway, thank you, Phil.
I hope that answers your question.
Oh, I just don't see why it's a daily thing, can be a daily thing.
Okay. Thank you. Any further questions?
Sorry.
I should take my leave now.
I think I missed out one thing that I was concerned about, and this is Alison Holmes again, is their planting plan.
Oh, yep.
They've got so many poisonous
Plants, you told me that one,
and yet they're filling up the house and the step with...
your poisonous plants, yeah.
Yep.
Mention that to Helen Mason again, from that side as well. Right, I feel roasted.
Not at all. You might send it on, Phil. I do apologise.
I will pass it on.
Oh, it's just, yeah. Thank you for coming, Phil, and please come again.
Oh no, I get home tonight, and I know it's all right now for another month.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Night all. Right. District Council report. Oh, fine. So any other further business anybody can think of? Joe? Planning applications. Blimey, where's that to? Where did I miss that? Oh, over the page. 132. New planning. Sorry, I apologise. Change of use and conversion of redundant agricultural barn into 2-numbered dwellings, including access and associated works. Building Act, grid reference, Buckland Brewer. It's out to
Out of Orstone, isn't it?
Orstone out there, yeah.
It looked like it'd gone through planning before and got turned down. But it never came to us, and I don't understand why that didn't, because I'm sure we would have said something. I was talking to somebody from out that way the other day, and it sounds like there's quite a few people who've not been very happy about it. I wonder really. My worry is that if that was granted, bearing in mind it was turned down the last time it was put in, you getting rid of the barn and with 2 houses, and there's a nice field there. And my worry is that it might expand. They just didn't. I think part of it was that.
Well, it was before the 10 years was up when the government brought in this new scheme for agricultural buildings. There was a rush of, and they tried then because it hadn't been there for 10 years.
What? Sorry, that shed been there for years.
They're quite new ones.
No, but the shed had been there for years. There's an old shed been there for years.
It wasn't because it came to us. We agreed it.
Yeah, no, but the old shed. I remember that old shed there, and the shed was falling down, and they put a new piece on it. They did a new shed on top of the site that was there. That shed was there for years.
Not in the field.
Yeah, he was. There was the shed that was in there for years.
He's on the road.
What is?
Shed.
No, that shed where he, well, I can't tell you precisely wherever the shed was, but he was in that field, but was there for years.
Well, anyway, that was why Forest District turned it down, because it didn't qualify.
I don't know. I don't know anything about that, but.
That was what I was saying. And that's right. But if it's been turned down, because I tried to find the site plan and I can't, but it's been withdrawn.
It's there. It's there. It's there.
I found it.
Yeah, I found it. I found it. Yeah.
I tried last night.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I found it. Well, I don't see nothing. I don't see nothing wrong with it.
It's been withdrawn.
Well, I didn't see that. Sorry, I didn't see the withdrawal bit. I saw it yesterday, I think, whatever it was. Yeah. No, I don't see nothing wrong with it.
So that's my only worry, and obviously shared by some of the people who live nearby.
I had a resident from that area on the phone to me saying, you know, we don't need two houses out in the middle of the country.
From my perspective, the 5-year housing supply has been fulfilled. I can't see a single justification to build it.
Is it done under a Q agriculture building, like there is down here, agriculture building?
Down the back lane.
Yeah, agriculture building conversion to a house. Yeah. Is it under that, or is it actual proper? Is it actually a, Joe? Do you know? Is it actually a full planning permission that done through the agriculture building one?
It's conversion. It's
From barn, yeah. No, I don't see no. Anyway, anybody else make any comment about it? Right. So those in favour of allowing this, vote no, yeah. That's 2. And those against? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not passed. Accounts and receipts for October, November 23. I might have got yours somewhere.
And what have you taken into account? 68,177. Of that, £26,500 is in the general account, so that's our usual bank account. The remainder being in Thornhill, Hebmore and the savings account. As far as payments, £2,191 going out this month or since the last meeting. Payroll was 1,141. There are firework expenses in there.
Sorry, I missed that. What did you say?
Fireworks
Yep.
are included in payroll because I bought them and claim them back. The remembrance wreath and grass cutting. And then the only receipts is a new allotment rent and deposit of £127.
Can I just ask?
Yeah.
The grass cutting, is that for a whole year or for week, month?
No, that is. Sorry, I can't remember the period. 1st of April. 1st of April to 30th of November.
Oh, right. Right. And also in the payroll, including expenses, just a matter of interest, how much does fireworks cost?
£330, I think it was,
right.
including VAT.
Oh, it's a good display. Yeah, yeah, it's good as well. Any other questions on that bit?
Tamar Trading, did you get that sorted?
Brain's gone dead, I will.
It's all right, no, I didn't
Sorry.
know if it was, no, it doesn't matter.
Sorry.
It doesn't matter. You've got a lot to do.
So carry on, Joe, sorry, is that? Yeah. Well, the only thing is that money that's in the different accounts, whatever, interest rates has gone up. Are we earning a bit more interest on it?
We only received interest on the savings account, and it's not a huge amount, to be honest
No,
with you.
but it's...
Yeah, we are getting interest.
Is all three on some sort of interest?
No.
Is there any chance of making them? You know, it's big money.
Be nice to put it in something.
Probably not on the other two. I will have a look into it, but I don't think we'll get very much on the other two. The only thing that it may be worth doing, and that it will have to be discussed on another day, is whether some money is transferred from the general account into the savings account. Because we did.
Can we put it on? Can we put it on the agenda for next time?
Because we
Brilliant.
did transfer 20,000 at the end of last year.
Brilliant. Thank you. Go on.
Just when do we pay the graziers? I can't remember. I can always ask questions. I never remember.
I can't remember off the top of my head. I need to check on that. I've got a feeling it was December sometime.
Right. So that will have to be done, won't it?
Yeah.
And also, just a matter of interest, if you can, I know you're busy, is how many graziers we paying?
I don't off the top of my head. Let me come back to you on that. I will.
Do
I'll
you
update
do that, or does RH Hickson call?
Hicks and Co manage all of that, and we just get a bill.
We just get a bill.
Yeah.
Right. Perhaps you could ask a question. Right. All done, Joe? Yes. Thank you. Sorry?
That's lovely.
Any other questions? Any other questions about anything? No. Then I formally declare this meeting closed. Thank you. And it's, 20 past 9.